has made it very clear that I only have 15 minutes in my session, so I will make sure that I stay in time. But if you've been in my diversity inclusion session for Frontier Bound, you will know that I like to engage. So I just want you to add in the chat box one word that about your experience today. What have you enjoyed? Do you think it was fun? Do you think it was insightful? Just give me one word, what that looks like. All right, invaluable. Hey, Amy, Amanda. Helpful, awesome, thoughtful, emotional. Yes, insightful, awesome. Yep. It's been very insightful. And I'm just glad that you all are enjoying the session and that you have decided to sit with me today. So, if you haven't learned anything about diversity, one thing that you will know is that we all bring our secret, unique sauce to the table, right? And we have different layers to it. So, even though we may look similar on the outside, we may have some unique differences on the inside. So, I want to share a few unique layers of myself, of who makes up Devin Puerto Rico. As you know, I am Devin Puerto Rico. I am a mother, sister, auntie. I did not misspell that, nor did I mispronounce it. It is auntie in my family. I am a Kentucky native. I am the Assistant Director of Diversity and Inclusion here at Frontier. I'm also a business owner, consultant, children's book author, and as some of you may know from last year, I am also a dancer. I received my dancing minor from University of Kentucky many moons ago, and I still enjoy it today and to try to communicate the best form of dance as possible to communicate messages. Before I go a little bit further, I want to first share with you what is art. When I first looked up what is art, I really got this really stuffy definition from dictionary.com. And, it said the creation of works of beauty or other special significance, the exercise of human skill, the imaginative skill as applied to representation of natural world or figments of the imagination. The one that I would like to focus more on is the products of man's creative activities, works, or of art collectively, especially in visual art, sometimes also music, drama, dance, and literature. Like I said, I felt like it was a really stuffy definition. I like to just say that the arts is a form of self-expression. Art is a way that you really can communicate a message. Art is a way that you can deliver emotion without articulating it perfectly. When you're thinking about communicating a message to somebody, we have to take in consideration our audience, right? And there are 7 ways that people can learn. And the unique and amazing thing about the arts is that you can utilize different learning styles in one piece. And when I'm thinking about one piece, it could be one choreography piece, it could be a piece of a sculpture, a visual art piece of something painted. But again, there are 7 ways, so you are not necessarily limited when it comes to the arts. The other thing when you're delivering a message is that when you want to make sure that you're effective, you have to make sure you're communicating the right language. In the world, there's over 6,500 languages in the world. And then when you start going to different cultures, there's different dialect. And then if you start getting to the urban slang terms, there's different way things that may mean different stuff. So you want to make sure you're communicating the right language. But one of the languages that I think people forget about is the arts. The creative arts is truly a unique language. And the creative arts encompasses music, dance, as I mentioned before, visual arts, and even media today. I want to give you a couple of examples. I'm sorry, before I go any further, the unique thing about the arts is that it really evokes emotions, it tells a story, as well as brings awareness to a topic. As I said, that you don't have to necessarily find the perfect words to say when you're actually trying to utilize the arts. And that is one of the unique things that I love about it. So I want to give you this first example today. This is actually an artist by the name of Steve Coates. He's an artist in London, and this is his cell phone zombie image. This was a depiction of his disapproval of our society today. And the funny thing is, if you walk down the street, I promise you, you won't walk far before you see individuals possibly staring zoned out into their cell phone, this device we call our cell phone. And it really kind of goes to show how it feels like it kind of sucks the life out of us because we're not enjoying the environment around us. The other example that I want to show you about the arts being used to communicate a message, in 2017, there was a musician by the name of Logic. Logic is a rapper, and he had other featured artists in 2017 MTV Music presentation, and he was bringing awareness to depression and anxiety in this particular performance. He branded his stage as well as individuals in t-shirts with the suicide hotline number on it. He also featured 50 suicide survivors on the stage with him, which brought another layer of emotion. So that, with his branding and combination with the lyrics of his music, brought true emotions, so much emotion to that presentation that the suicide hotline actually received an increase of 50% above their average calls that evening after his performance. So again, many people were impacted by that show. I don't really want you to take my word for it about the arts being awesome and significant and conveying a message or story. I actually reached out to some personal friends that I know that are in the arts, and I wanted to get their insight on it. So I want you to listen to them and see what they have to say.
Hi, Dr. Dre Graham here, the 2020 Florida Teacher of the Year and former Director of Instrumental Studies at King High School in Tampa, Florida. So, one of the great things I love about music is that it offers an opportunity to express yourself in ways that sometimes words can't. One of the great things about music is that it's a human art, it's a human action, it's an opportunity for us to interact in such a way that transcends speech, transcends words, and gives us a chance to really emote in a way that is unlike any other. So many times you'll hear a song that reminds you of a certain point in your life that takes you back, creates this feeling of nostalgia in ways that memories and spoken words, when you start kind of reflecting on things, just it isn't the same. One of the great opportunities as a music teacher is the chance to be able to make music with a bunch of young students. And whenever you have that moment, whenever you're all firing on the same cylinders and you're all collaborating to make this incredible performance, and you think it's like, wow, there's nothing like this, and you're really just invested and enveloped in the music making experience, it's something that words really can't adequately articulate. I remember a time specifically when I was conducting a piece called A Movement for Rosa, one of my favorite pieces, and it's written about the life of Rosa Parks and just racism and what she had to go through in our country. And we're going and the kids are playing, and man, they're just doing this incredible job. And I look down and my flute player looks up at me and just starts crying. And then immediately I start crying, not because obviously the performance wasn't good, because it was a very moving performance, but just that connection of all the hard work that we had done to get to where we are for this performance. And then also the weight of being able to express something that we just couldn't, we were telling a story that words couldn't adequately express. It's just an incredible opportunity. And that's just something that is unique to the power of the arts, and specifically to music.
Hi, my name is Angela Kita Moore, and art is important to me as self-expression, because as artists, we are the storytellers. We are the historians, because art is truly, regardless of whether or not we're trying to have it be this, is a reflection of society. So whether or not you look up stuff in a history book is irrelevant. Like, art reflects what's happening, and sometimes it can't just be expressed with just written detailed of the facts. Also, I think there's a true intrinsic and extrinsic value of art. Like, art shapes society. Even if you look at a stop sign is even a piece of art. The fact that red is the color that's used for it, the fact that it shapes like an octagon. There's so many things that make art important into society, that it's not only just a great form of self-expression so that you can put a part of you on whatever you're telling, but it's also important to society as a whole.
The arts are the most powerful way to tell our stories. In the Bible, David danced for the Lord, And he wrote songs when he didn't exactly know what he wanted to say or how to express himself. I think about Alvin Ailey's Revelation and how powerful that is and what a story that tells. My favorite books are memoirs, and it's because the author is sharing their story in their words. There is nothing more powerful than hearing someone's story the way that they want to express it. I think about how dance for me has been a great way to work out ideas, feelings, emotions that maybe I didn't know how to process another way. I often feel like when I create art with someone, whether it's I've been in a play with them or dancing or written word, I'm not much of a visual artist, so probably not that for me. It's a way to let people in on my life and a way to let people in on my story. I love to go to art museums and see different pieces of art, even art that I maybe don't understand at first glance, and really take a moment to see what the artist is trying to say. I think the arts give so much meaning to so many different people because we are able to get a glimpse of someone else's story in the way that they want to share it. And that is a very powerful message.
Art was always a creative outlet and a place of exploration for me. I was living alone for the first time in a studio apartment in Seattle, healing from an eating disorder, body hatred, and sexual assault in an abusive relationship that I needed to feel a sense of home in myself again. This is what influenced my desire to portray the woman in my work. I interpret her experience through a minimalistic perspective and use simple, precise lines to present her as strong in her vulnerability and beautiful in her femininity. She has dominion over her body. She represents what it means to be a woman and to love being a woman. She has a unique ability to be strong, but kind, and powerful, but soft simultaneously, and that we were made by God as the crowning touch of creation. I use few precise strokes, each as significant as the next, intentionally stripping all of the unnecessary and allowing the viewer to read between the lines. My name is Sophie Sturdivant, and I'm an American contemporary line artist, interpreting the woman's experience through a minimalistic perspective.
I'm so over studying for this exam. Let's try this one. An American nurse tries to speak with a Korean client who cannot understand the English language. To effectively communicate to a client with a different language, which of the following should the nurse implement? A, have an interpreter present to translate. B, speak slowly. C, speak loudly and closely to the client. Or D, speak to the client and family together. I'm going to go with A, have an interpreter present to translate. All right, got it right. Having an interpreter would be the best practice when communicating with a client who speaks a different language. Okay. If I take another quiz, I will scream. Why do I do this? Why do I study all hours of the night? Why do I put up such a fight? I do it because one day I will celebrate a new baby born, and one day help a family mourn. It makes me have courage and determination. It teaches me how to handle my dissatisfaction. Some people will curse or bless you, but every day they will teach you something new.
That is why I study all hours of the night.
And why I put up such a fight.
Because one day a nurse I will be to help people like you and people like me.
And me.
And like me.
Hello, everyone. So that is the final of my presentation. I just want to say that when you are considering delivering any message that you have, that you explore outside the box and possibly consider some form of creative arts to deliver your message, because there may be some individuals that may be able to pick it up in that way. I do have something in the chat box. One second. Oh, y'all like my presentation. I told you I was good. No, I'm just playing.